Welcome to our next order of operations video. This one is specifically about grouping symbols. If you remember, that means our parentheses, our brackets, our braces, that kind of stuff. So we're going to tackle some more complicated order of operations problems. Get your title. Our learning target, 6EE1, kind of falls under the same standard. And then our I can statement. I can use parentheses to change the value of an order of operations problem. Oh, there we go.
Okay. So when we have parentheses, we need to kind of think of our grouping symbols as a mini order of operations problem. So within the brackets or the parentheses, we need to go back to our pyramid. There are no powers inside these parentheses. We do have a multiplication, so we'll do multiplication or division from left to right. So we're starting with 3 times 2, which is 6, and then addition and subtraction. So within the parentheses, our next move is to solve 8 minus 6, which is 2.
So notice the parentheses didn't disappear this time because there was still something left inside for us to do.
And 2 times 6, that would be 12. So we still have to follow the rules. We're just starting within the parentheses.
All right, so a little bit bigger problem for us. Notice this little exponent out here. We're going to kind of come back to that one. Remember, exponents is our second step. But since it's outside of the parentheses, like Mrs. King talked about, we're going to start inside of our parentheses. There's 2 different things going on, but we still follow order of operations. So we're going to do the multiplication before we do the subtraction. 2 times 4 is 8. We rewrite everything else. Since there's still something going on inside the parentheses don't go away quite yet. She left me with a big problem.
I did. Most kids would do 9 minus 2 is 7, and 7 times 4 is 28, but then would run into a problem when they had to square it.
I would feel bad for them, but not really if they had to square 28 because they weren't paying attention. Now we finish inside the parentheses. So we do all of the parentheses before we move on. 9 minus 1 is, or 9 minus 8 is 1. That exponent now gets tacked on to whatever came out of the parentheses. So I'm going to add that little exponent up there. All right, looking like I'm going to need some extra space here. So I've finished my parentheses. Now I'm ready to go to my exponents. So 1 to the second power. Please do not say that is 2. 1 to the second power is 1 times 1, which is 1. Rewrite the rest of it. So we're done with parentheses, we're done with exponents. Now we do multiplying and dividing. So I have some multiplication, a very challenging multiplication problem. 1 times 11 is 11.
Add first, which is 20, and then 20 minus 5 will give you 5.
She's getting impatient. Apparently I'm too slow because I'm writing everything. So we added first because it came first in the problem. Then we finished with our subtraction. 20 minus 5 is 15.
I actually think I said 5, but you know what I meant.
I wasn't listening.
Okay.
This one's all yours.
Yep, pause it, write it down, make sure you have the difference between brackets and parentheses. Okay, in this example, we've got 2 different types of parentheses going on, and we need to make sure we start with the inside parentheses first. So we have green parentheses that we need to take care of first. So 15 minus 5 will give us 10. And then we need to complete our brackets, which are still considered grouping symbols. So we're still on top of that pyramid. He's rewriting for you. 3 times 10 will give us 30 for our second step.
Kind of working our way out from the inside.
And now we are left with the simple order of operations. Remember, we do need to subtract before we add because it's whatever comes first from left to right. So 50 minus 30 will give us 20. 20 plus 25 gives us a total of 45.
All right.
Dun-da-da-da.
Now for the fun part. Well, I think it's fun. You might not think it's fun. Now we want to talk about how the fact that we can put parentheses in a different part of a problem, and that's going to change what we get for an answer. Because parentheses forces us to do something first where it might not otherwise have been the first step in the problem. So for instance, I could put parentheses around my 8 and my 4, because normally adding 2 numbers together wouldn't be something I would tackle right away. But because of my parentheses, now I have to go ahead and do my 8 plus 4 is 12 before I can do the rest of my problem. Now I follow my order of operations. I've done parentheses, there's no exponents. Multiply and divide from left to right, so I'm going to multiply first. 3 times 12 is 36. Divided by 2 minus 1. 36 divided by 2 is 18. Minus 1 is 17. So by putting my parentheses here, I get an answer of 17. Let's see where Mrs. King wants to put her parentheses.
Okay. I will change the parentheses. I don't know if it'll give us different... How do I pick up these thingies?
Just click on them and drag them.
All right. Is that good enough for you?
Sure.
Or did you want more within? All right.
All right. I'll do a little more for mine.
Okay, fancy pants. I'll move it. There. Is that better?
All right.
Is that even going to make any difference? Sure it is.
It should.
So, within my parentheses, I got 4 divided by 2, which is 2 first, and I'm making a shorter parentheses, recopying my work. I still have a subtraction part within the grouping symbols. 2 minus 1 will give me 1. Yes, it does change the answer.
I know it does.
3 times 8 will give me 24. Add a 1. This total for Mrs. King is higher than Mr. McKenzie's total, 25.
She doesn't know that we're aiming for the lowest total, so I actually win.
Oh, you're just going to change the directions on me, huh?
All right. So let's do one more real quick. See if it changes our answer. Okay. Some of you might be thinking about, ooh, what if I put it around my 3 times my 8? We could do that. But then stop and think about the problem. What would you do first anyway? Well, you would have done the multiplication at the beginning of the problem anyway. So what if we put our parentheses like this?
Don't you dare try to 8 plus 4 first.
I'm not going to add. I'm going to divide first.
I didn't say you. I was talking about them.
Oh, I thought you were telling me I was going to do it.
No.
So inside the parentheses, we still follow order of operations. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Division comes before addition. Now I'm going to finish inside the parentheses.
He's going to beat me.
8 plus 2 is 10.
10 times.
Now I'm going to do my multiplication before I subtract. 3 times 10 is 30. Minus 1 is 29. So I forgot to say the rule was whichever one gets the higher answer wins.
You're
so
just
I
making
win.
junk up. All right, the you try problem. You're going to write down that expression, 34 minus 12 divided by 2 plus 7. First, you need to solve the problem and get the answer using order of operations. That's the first step. Then you're going to rewrite the problem again, 34 minus 12 divided by 2 plus 7, and put in parentheses into the problem so the answer is now 18.
So that second time you're going to be trying to figure out how do I put those parentheses in to force my answer to come out to be 18.
You're using the same expression. You're doing it 2 different ways. Order of operations and then add in parentheses to equal 18. We will discuss those findings.
So you could put them there. Just trying to give you some ideas.
Give them too much help, it won't be a
you
try problem.
There. Think of
See you
different places you
tomorrow
could
before
try.
it gives you the answer.